Your design looks good, but does it feel real? Today, we'll see how Figma prototypes can act just like real apps, with smooth scrolling and real device frames. So, welcome to another Figma tutorial. In this video, we'll learn how you can make your prototype even more immersive by using scrolling and device frames. This is Know-How Academy. So, let's get started and see what we're going to learn in today's video. First, we'll see how to create scrollable frames in Figma. Second, how to keep the status bar and navigation fixed while scrolling. Then we'll learn how to add horizontal scrolling. After that, we'll see how to simulate map-like interactions using both vertical and horizontal scrolling directions. And lastly, we'll learn how to add device frames for realistic prototyping. Let's start with how we can create scrollable frames. So first, we're taking a social media app design that's made using an iPhone preset. But we can see how this design has become quite lengthy, and now we want to create a prototype to test its look and feel, and see how the design is showing at 100% size. But in reality, our phone screens aren't that long, so what we need is for the part that's outside the screen to become automatically scrollable. So, to create scrollable frames, select your design. There are two types of scroll you can add. One way is to go to the prototype and open the right side panel. In the scroll behavior section, there will be an overflow section where you can click on the menu, and here you'll find some options. No scrolling, horizontal, vertical, and both directions, where you can click on vertical. And now let's preview it. And now you can see how our design is scrolling. Now, let's look at fixing the status bar and navigation while scrolling. You can see that at the top of this design, there is a navigation bar with options like sign in, register, and many more available. Now, when we scroll through our website design, these elements get hidden. But you can see that in a real app, the top navigation bar always stays fixed at the top, no matter how much we scroll. So let's see how this is possible. Now, we will select our frame. We'll go to the Design tab. Now, to fix this top bar, we'll select our top bar, which is the header. Now we've selected our header. There are two options to fix this header. One way is to go to Constraints, which is in the Position section, and there select Center and Top. The second option you have is to go to the Prototype tab, and then within the Scroll Behavior section, you'll find that you can set two different options here. These options allow you to control how scrolling behaves in your design. You can see that as I scroll or interact with the prototype, the changes take effect immediately, making it easy to preview the results. Now adding horizontal scrolling. Now we will see how we can add horizontal scroll to our design, to our prototype. Now we will see how in our design you can see how these profile icons are aligned horizontally. And right now, vertical scrolling is enabled. So it scrolls vertically, but we can't scroll it horizontally and can't see the other profile icons. To enable horizontal scrolling for these profile icons, first select all of them. Right-click and click on Frame Selection. You can also use the shortcut Command plus Option plus G, and for Windows, Control plus Alt plus G. Now all our profile icons are inside this frame, and remember, it is very important to have a frame to enable schooling. Now select your frame and go to the Prototype tab. In the Overflow section, under Scroll Behavior, select Horizontal Scrolling. You can see a warning sign here. This warning sign appears when all your content is inside the frame. That means there's no need for horizontal scrolling there. When all your content is inside the frame and visible, we enable horizontal scrolling only when our content goes out of the frame. You can see an option in the right side panel. Clip Content. What does clip content mean? When you click Clip Content, any element or part of your design that goes outside the frame size will not be visible. And when you remove clip content, like if you uncheck this box, all your content that is outside the frame will become visible. Okay, so now let's go back to our Prototype tab. Now you can see that the warning sign is gone. Now we'll click on the presentation view and preview it. Now you can scroll through it and see. Now you can see how it's scrolling horizontally, and the rest of the profile icons are also visible. Now simulating map interaction with both scroll directions, horizontal and vertical. In this design, you can see how a Google map is embedded, and we want it to be pannable. That means it should move in both horizontal and vertical directions, just like in real maps where you can move the map in any direction. So first, we'll select this map. Right-click and select Frame Selection so that it gets converted into a frame. Now, we'll click on our design. Next, we'll go to the Prototype tab. Click on the menu in the Overflow section and you'll see 4 options. No scrolling, horizontal, vertical, and another one, both directions. Now we'll click on this. Now we'll click on the presentation button and preview it. You can see how our map is scrolling in both directions. You must have noticed how apps such as Ola, Uber, and many others have an interactive live map feature, where the map scrolls or pans in different directions. And you can create the same effect in your own prototype as well. Now, adding device frames for realism. This prototype already looks pretty good. But for device previewing, we want a realistic look, so we'll add a device frame. For that, let's go back to the file, and first, go to the Prototype tab. You can see an option next to your Prototype tab. If you remember the prototype device, at the start of the design, we used an iPhone preset frame. So let's go to the drop-down and select an iPhone preset. If not, or if you've designed a website or a desktop UI, there are plenty of device options here that you can choose from accordingly. Basically, when you preview, your prototype will appear within that device frame. There are also more options here for presentation and fill. If you don't want to choose a device frame, you can also use presentation or fill, and you can see how our prototype is wrapped inside this device frame, giving it a pretty realistic look. So finally, let's review what we've learned. First of all, we added a scrolling effect to our prototype. Then we saw how to use fixed position along with the scrolling effect. For example, when we need to fix content like headers, footers, or navigation bars. Then we learned about horizontal and vertical scrolling and how to use both together for our design interactions. And finally, we used the prototype device frame so that our prototype looks more realistic and immersive. Thank you for choosing Know-How Academy as your source of IT knowledge. If you have any doubts about this video, you can go to the comment section and ask your questions so we can help you solve them.